Okay, welcome to a presentation on using a wiki to push from the center of a subject out. This is going to explore a use of wikis that I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with, or a way of going about wikis that I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with, but it's the source of their power. It's the reason why things like Wikipedia were able to do what they do. And the idea is this, is that you can start anywhere in your domain of knowledge. And by looking at even a short description of something that you know, use that to push from the center out through this dynamic linking process. So I want to show you what that means in this context. Here we're doing Shakespeare's sonnets. And right now we're going normal speed, although we'll speed this up like 8 times in a minute. We're writing a bit, I don't know, a 3 or 4 paragraph description of Shakespeare's sonnets, just what we know. And as we go through it, we're noting that some stuff we don't know. I say 116, but that doesn't really sound right to me. I think there's more, so I put a bunch of question marks after it. I'm not sure when the sonnets were from. But as I go through, I do note that there are some ideas here, right? So we can see the Petrarchan sonnet, right? The idea of a rhetorical turn, the rhyme scheme. And so as I start to describe, I start to intersect with other subjects, imagined audiences, right? I start to build out the areas for further research. And we can even do things like we see here, age and beauty. These are subjects of the Shakespearean sonnets. So we can link out and then we can have a page on age, the concept of age in these sonnets, or the concept of beauty in these sonnets. We can have an article on Platonic love, right? And sometimes we'll use terms that are familiar or are terms of art, right? So unrequited love, implied author. Other times, maybe not so much, right? So we are here using alliteration, internal rhyme, and assonance. But if we go here, cruel lover, well, I don't know if that's a term, but it's a theme, right? So we have this theme of the cruel lover. We name it cruel lover. We don't necessarily care that that's what, the critics would call it. We just need a name to set up a page on this so we can start collecting ideas. So now you see, as we start to push out the first ring of exploration here. We click into Shakespeare's sonnets. We have a link here on the Petrarchan sonnet. So we start to write out what's a Petrarchan sonnet. And as we go, we start to, again, find other things, the octave, the sestet, the rhyme scheme. I'm not dealing here with the imagery issues or the cultural issues or some of the thematic issues, but we certainly could do that as well. And one of the strengths of this is that different people, as they build out, may see different opportunities. So if you have someone who really has a strength in, say, sociology, what they might see as a link that needs to be built out is different than what you would see. So we got Elizabethan era here. Can talk about Wordsworth and Keats. And again, when we do an article on Wordsworth or Keats in this type of wiki, we're not writing a William Wordsworth was born in blah, blah, blah article. We're writing an article on Wordsworth as he relates to the subject of this wiki. And that's another thing I think people don't get. A wiki article doesn't need to be a Wikipedia article. In fact, for most wikis, the most important thing you can do is make an article that really suits the local use of the term, right? So when we go to that Wordsworth article, hopefully almost everything in that Wordsworth article is going to help shed some light on Shakespeare's sonnets, right? And anything that doesn't, we're not gonna put in there. Here's something you see. These pages can also be a place for collecting examples of things. So we have alliteration here, and we tried to find an example of alliteration. We have Sonnet 18's example, internal rhyme, another example from Sonnet 18. And these pages can start to become hubs where we collect very rough notes on these things. We've noticed here that the dark-haired lady that we're referring to is actually referred to as Dark Lady. We don't have to be embarrassed about that. That's just the term that they're using. And we're going to note where the division between those sonnets to the young man and the sonnets to the dark-haired, to the dark lady are. But you see how we've gone from just a very short explanation of Shakespeare's sonnets here to we're dealing with now implied author, implied audiences, some fairly complex concepts, right? And this is what you want to do. You can start from the center and you can push out, and the students can use their strengths to push out in different directions, and you end up with what I think will be a fascinating work rather than just another book report.